What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Let's Talk Musique.
Are you having a stroke?
No,
I'm JR.
I'm Ty.
Oh,
and I was humming one of the songs from the artist that we're doing today.
Oh, yeah.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome to Let's Talk Musique. This episode of Let's Talk Musique is sponsored to you by West Coast Guitars. 2741 East Hastings. That's right, bitches. I remember.
He's got this address. Okay.
Man, we love these guys so much. Thank you so much for sponsoring the show. If you guys need anything like custom for your guitar or you're into like super nice stuff, you got to go check them out. Phenomenal guitars in there. Great like accessories for stuff. Super helpful staff. They know like absolutely everything. I end up looking like a total rookie when I go in there, and I always learn a whole ton when I go in there. So
I do too. Anytime.
Big thanks to those guys for sponsoring the show. Ooh, Jay, we got a tasty one for you today.
A tasty one.
Tasty one for you today.
Who could you have possibly been humming? That sounded a little out there.
A little out there?
A little out there.
That's because this artist is very out there. This week, we're going into Frank Zappa.
Boom, boom.
So
yeah, that's
sick.
out there. Yeah.
Super out there. Man, I can't tell you how much this guy had an influence. Like to me, he's the greatest composer in the last century. Like it's insane. Unbelievable. Yeah, like I think when I first kind of heard him, because it is so out there. When I first heard him, like when I was a little kid, I didn't fuck with him really. Like I was just know, it was too much.
Your little brain
it's like when you first listen to jazz as a little kid. Yeah. You're like, this is wacky and crazy. I love it, but I can't understand what the fuck is going on here.
Yeah.
Right?
Give me my Transformers.
Yeah. Or just like my 4/4 time. And
that's
like,
right. Yeah.
I can handle I can handle Mary Had a Little Lamb. Right?
His brain was too evolved for us as
You're throwing some 5/4 at me. I'm like, what? I don't know how to count this.
What's happening here?
Yeah, what is happening here?
Yeah.
Fucking 5/4. The worst time taker. It's actually the best. It's freaking sick, but still. I'm not Latin enough to be able to pull it off. I'm too white. Too white for the 5/4. 3/4 all day. I'll waltz, bro. Oh, I'll waltz. I'll waltz.
Love it.
So yeah, I think it was a little too like whoa wacky and shit like that, but there was always like cool sounds and like weird shit in it that I liked when I was a kid.
Yeah, my appreciation didn't start until I became a musician.
Big time.
Like I had to understand how music worked and understood that. Oh, now I kind of see what he's doing. I can never be like, I get it.
Yeah, well, it's like you need to kind of like learn it to understand that he's just ripping it all apart.
He was doing things that I just couldn't wrap my head around.
No,
until very later in life.
Yeah, I still can't really wrap my head around it. Like I understand what's happening, but I'm like, I couldn't.
Hearing it and kind of understanding what's happening is so. Imagine the man creating it, like this dude.
And like a straight up fucking genius. A bit of a prick, apparently.
I think most geniuses have that same persona.
Yeah.
You're a prick.
I just think that they're so focused that they come off as pricks, maybe.
Yes, that's what it is.
You know?
They're more worried about their art or what they're working on or what's inside their head.
Yeah, you'd have to have that mind frame to be like that
good. To try
to
channel those things.
Yeah, to be that good at something.
Yeah.
The guy released 62 albums that we know of right now in his house in Valley somewhere.
And he produced most of them.
Yeah.
And that's solo and with his band.
The Mothers of Invention, which were originally supposed to just be called the Motherfuckers. But they were like, that's not going to work well for posters and stuff. But he was like
way ahead of his time.
Insistent on calling it. Yeah, that's like 60s and shit.
Yep.
So there's a vault in his house with like, it's similar to Prince. That's like, there's just this unreleased giant room of like video, audio, you fucking name it. And he was like the first guy to get like to work with programs like Sibelius, like a computer writing music and stuff.
Yeah.
One of the first dudes to do MIDI, like all that kind of shit. Like he had these machines in his house. The amount of money this guy used to spend on just there's a great story of one of the marimba players, Ruth Underwood. Okay. Who's like this crazy, crazy, awesome marimba player. She's so dope. And was with Frank's band for quite a while after the Mothers of Invention. But so good and like crazy solos and shit. Marimbas are like very expensive instruments. Okay. They're like they're made of wood, like they're wood blocks.
Google them.
You know, it's a giant glockenspiel like you played when you were a kid, but like 25 grand or that back in like the 70s, right?
Yeah,
it's like some special wood from Bali. I don't fucking know. I didn't play. But The problem with these instruments usually is they're played in an orchestra with, you've got 5 of them or whatever,
Yep.
right? In a big percussion section of the orchestra. So they're not really good. They can't really keep up with a rock band as far as loudness, right?
Right.
With fucking SG guitars
That's
and
right.
crazy
Yeah.
bass and Tony Bozio behind drums. Like,
You're
not
getting
gonna do
drowned out.
100%. And there's not really, at the time, not a great way to mic. They didn't make like stage condensers and stuff that didn't feed back like a motherfucker. There's not phantom power back then. Like,
this was a free for all. Let's see what we can invent.
So he was like listen, I want you to come on tour with me, but we got to mic up your marimba. And I think I got a guy that can do something like this, but it involves drilling in to every slat, like every piece, right?
Yeah.
And like, this is her. She went to
25,000
whatever school of music. Like,
you
know what I
don't
mean?
drill into these.
Yeah,
things.
and she was like super hesitant, even if it's like means going on tour with Frank Zappa. And he was like, I tell you what, I'll do mine first. And if it works out, but you have to get yours done. And she was like, deal. Because he also had one. Because he started, although most people think of him as
Of course he had one.
Well, everyone thinks of him as like this because he is this crazy, fucking amazing guitar player.
Right.
And the things he was able to do with a Gibson SG, I don't understand how he's able to do with a Gibson SG. But unfucking believable what he's doing. He started off as a percussionist. He's a percussion player. And I think that's what made him so good at writing. Like, he has such a... I always find percussionists like this. Like, drummers have a better understanding of the whole fucking like thing. And it's like if they've had to write... If you've ever had to write out drum scripture... The other shit's kind of easy.
Right, exactly.
Drum shit's a motherfucker for me to write. I hated doing that.
Yeah.
It was the worst. I don't know, man. It was like it was the best shit ever. So like he was always on top of all that stuff and like always at the leading edge of whatever technology.
Those guys are just going what works. Like, and they're trying. It's all trial and error. They're grabbing everything. They're trying to get out of those things. Like, it must be. I think sometimes inside people like that, their brains, it must always be bursting. Like
it must be exhausting.
It must be very exhausting.
Yeah, I think that's why he only drank coffee.
No,
and
we need
smoked
this, we need this, and which is all he did. Yeah. And you think about that too. It's not a guy who was driven by psychedelics or drugs.
No, and you listen to his tunes, and you're like, this motherfucker is high as a Georgia pine. Like, this is
if you did not know
Yeah.
that he didn't do drugs, you would think, okay, this guy just sits around, does drugs, and writes music.
Yeah, and you look at him, and this guy definitely does some fucking drugs.
Everything matches.
Yeah.
It smells like
every
shit.
photo's on him on the toilet, giving you the finger, like it's
like
fucking...
exactly. So that would be your first thought, but yeah, no, he wasn't. Just cigarettes and coffee. His food.
Ultimately, his demise. But
yeah,
I didn't even think he really ate food. To be honest with you, he was like not a fan.
That's what I mean. Like that was his food.
Yeah, that was his food. Yeah, and his very famous David Letterman interview.
Yeah.
David Letterman's like, well, you don't do drugs, but you smoke cigarettes and you drink coffee. And he goes, well, yeah, that's food.
Exactly. That was his nutrients. Like that was it. That's probably all he had time for in the midst of creating over 60 albums in that time frame.
In the time, like, that's the computer programming stuff for writing music. That's still the 80s, dude. Like, so he's doing this shit in the 70s where you're hand scribing this shit on music paper. And, like, there's a really great... I'm a big fan of Ruth Underwood. She's just, like, a great percussionist. And she's, like, just cool. Like, she's this little, like, skinny old lady now, and she still fucking rips it.
Really?
So they catch up with her, like, this interview in one of the documentaries. There's, like, a gazillion on them. I just watched a recent one that just came out on him, though, and it was a lot of cool, like, footage I hadn't seen before and stuff. And I think it's just called Zappa. I think it's just called Zappa. Check it out. It was really good. But in this other one that I watched, they catch up with Ruth, and she shows it's called, like, Rollo's Plowover or some shit like that. I can't remember what it's called. It's the solo bit in the song St. Alfonso's Pancake Breakfast, which is so good. It's on apostrophe, I think, and it's the craziest marimba solo not that you hear a ton of marimba solos.
I don't know. This might get top 10.
It's definitely top 10. Just inches in the top 10 of marimba solos. So she shows the music paper that she has, the original music paper that Frank handed to her. Like, this is your part for this song. And she shows it to the camera, and it's perfect. It's like... It looks like a fucking machine has done it, dude. It's insane. And she goes, this is him writing it down as fast as he can on, like, an airplane.
Jeez.
He's just.
I tried to write notes on the bus on the way
Dude,
here.
look at this.
Dude,
look at
I
this.
got pen
These are
on
notes
my
for
pants.
This episode. Look at that. It's awful.
I got pen on my pants just trying to write on the bus on the way here.
Yeah, dude.
It's just
Use a pen, Sideshow Bob.
tell the editor to edit in a clip right there.
Okay. Okay.
You hear that? Yeah, there must be a man, like there must be so many stories of like similar to these things where, because you're in the midst of creating these things, like you said, the computers weren't even doing it yet. So there must be so many stories where he had to think of his own solution to these problems. If you have these instruments and you're trying to tour and play music and write, because he wasn't just a guitarist, like you said, like he did things.
He literally did everything.
He was a composer.
And his whole the whole thing with computer thing is so he could eliminate having to work with musicians, because he was just like he hated fucking everything. Like
I think of his brain like a computer in a sense.
100%.
So
very
trying to create a computer is so he has someone to communicate with. Like that's
finally someone is up to my speed.
Finally 1001.
Yeah.
Just,
00?
He starts
What?
talking in binary for the rest of his life.
2259.
But yeah, so there must be so many stories of that, and so many stories of him having to deal with humans who just couldn't understand.
Yeah,
like musicians, other musicians.
Yeah, I don't even want to say we hate music, because he gave so many people their start. I mean, if you have a credential of you went on the road with fucking Frank Zappa's band, like the strictness. No. Keep in mind, this is the most like complex shit I've ever seen. It just looks like. Well, we'll get into it. Terry Bozzio, who was one of the players who he had, amazing drummer, like epic in the fucking drum scene.
Epic in the drum world.
He is known for doing what Frank wrote for him to do. It's called the Black Page. And the reason it's called the Black Page is because the sheet music for it it looks like a fucking black page, because that's how much shit is. There's so many goddamn notes and pauses and rests. That's why it's called that. He was the only dude who could do it.
See? Like, things like that. Like, and him being the only
And he would sing, too. Shout out to Tony Bozzio's song, Titties and Beer. Where he plays the devil, and Frank Zappa's talking, just, what will you give me for your titties and beer? The most fucking outlandish lyrics of all time. He hated lyrics.
He was very anti,
He was like, they're stupid. They shouldn't be in songs.
Dumb. It's supposed to be music.
Yeah,
like, it wasn't about words. It was about you. The words you wanted to portray, you did it through your music.
And that's why you get these fucking amazing title tracks that we will get into. But there's still so many players. Steve Vai discovered.
A huge idol of mine.
Probably the funniest.
reason I play an Ibanez and a 7-string is
There you
Steve
go.
Vai.
Did you have the Ibanez with the fucking him with the handle?
With the fucking handle, dude.
Yeah, bud.
And so I got it from him. That was like my first, and then my second one was like.
It's funny how metal dudes are like, that's a sick guitar, and like
sick,
for my world, I'm like, that's a weak ass guitar.
Man,
but it's sick. I love Steve Vai though.
I love Steve Vai. Yeah,
and I see, the thing is, I never like, because who was in it? Joe Satriani was like another guy like that.
Joe Satriani, yeah.
I didn't like those fucking dudes. Like,
and
I was just never I was just never like a shredder. So I never when I was young and like would hate on shit instead of just appreciating it for what the fuck it was.
Right.
I like kind of hated on those guys. But then when I really got into Zappa, like when I got into music school and shit, it was like,
when you became
you find out, you really find, when I was like really okay, like now I'm doing this.
The
like,
same thing,
yeah.
And of course Zappa would work with those types, because
Steve Vai's audition story is fucking nuts. Frank's like, they fly him out from New York to Los Angeles. They give him 3 pieces of music the day before to memorize. Of like really hard shit, okay? He gets to the audition, goes onto the stage. Frank doesn't ask him to play a single piece that he's just spent the last 24 hours frantically trying to memorize. He gives him some random. He goes, play blues like 1-4-5 with a quick 2, and he's like, okay, great. And now do it like a samba. Okay, now do it like a cha-cha. And he got him to like play all these different styles, and then by the end of it, he was getting him to combine all this. She's like, now do like a half cha-cha, half this, and like now have a one rest here, and like he goes, it was so fucked by the end of it, and it wasn't anything like melodic or anything like that made any sense. Frank was just saying if you could do it.
Right, yeah, he's like,
all right, let's kick a hang. You're in.
How amazing is that?
What, dude?
That is wild.
Fucking sweating bullets, dude. What?
What?
Wants me to play a cha-cha?
I would have loved.
He's like
him
19, by the way.
I would have loved him
like,
to
at
fly
that
on the
time.
wall. Can you imagine a 19-year-old being able to do that too, and like in front of
Virtuoso,
Zappa?
fuck yeah.
Just,
I mean,
like-
I can't know, but he definitely could.
That's amazing. What an amazing story. There must be a lifetime of stories just from his career alone.
Yeah, man.
Man. And he only lived to be about, what was it, 50 as well, 51 or
53 in years. I
Something
can't
like
really
that.
remember.
Maybe 50.
93. Maybe like 93. 93 is when he died. 92 or 93.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he did some really cool stuff with like orchestra stuff at towards the end of his life, like that. Whatever shark,
Which
baby shark, whatever.
obviously
Not
he
baby
should
shark.
be.
It's not baby shark. Some other shark.
Some other
Whatever. That came out much later.
He was ahead of his time, man, in all of it.
Unbelievable, man. Yeah, such a.
Working with an orchestra and things like that, it makes sense for me with Zappa. Like,
he'd have all these
that's
great
all his
conducting
part of-
points
right,
too,
exactly.
right?
He'd
Like-
be able to talk to each one of them.
And he
Yeah,
had these
right, yeah.
certain conducting moves, even when they had the band in the 70s, even with the Mothers and stuff like that. Like
Yeah.
it started then. So like when he went like this with his middle finger all the way up, that meant play the highest note possible on your instrument. And if he like waved it, it was like vibrato.
Right.
And then if he had his middle finger down, it was the lowest note you could possibly play on your instrument. And then you wave it in vibrato.
Everyone has their fucking way.
Right?
That's wild.
But I mean, he also knew how to like properly conduct and shit. But
Right.
it's
But
man,
of course,
that
he
guy's a
made it
genius.
his own.
Yeah.
And he did it his way.
In like giant bell bottoms and fucking oh man,
Yeah, good for. Yeah, he was really against censorship.
big time. He was the one who went to court with like D. Snyder
That's
and
right.
and
That's
and
right.
really fought for that. Who was that? Was that Gore's wife? Not Gore wife or
Yeah, not Gore. Gwar. No.
was it Tipper Gore who fucking
Tipper,
started all that
yes,
shit?
Tipper Gore.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Tipper Gore. So one of my albums had parental advisories on
Yeah,
them
that's
in
right.
Canada.
That's
Was
right.
it Tipper Gore
Tipper Gore.
in America?
Tipper
Thanks,
Gore.
Tips. Hey,
Thanks,
Tipper
Tips.
Gore. Tipper Gore. Tipper Gore. It sounds like it sounds on repeat.
Tipper
So
Gore.
yeah, Tipper Gore. Dude, do you even Tipper Gore? What's that? It's a
Do you-
form of parkour.
Come on.
Yeah.
You hardcore Tipper Gore?
Tipper Gore sounds like drunk parkour.
You just tip over.
Fucking Tipper Gore, bro.
You just tip your buddy over.
Off a building. Just falls
Oh, shit.
falls into the trash
He didn't
can.
make it. He just got Tipper Gore.
Fuck you, Tipper Gore. Yeah, he fought for all that stuff, man. Yeah, I've
Yeah.
read his book. And it's super good too. I have a friend who's actually was on one of the podcasts, Connor Mack, who's not a particular fan. I know some people don't really fuck with Zappa. He's a little too like, whatever
Oh,
for
yeah,
people.
for
But
sure, man.
but man, I just when I got into musical is when it was like, well, okay. Like, because then I was like nerding out real hard on on theory and stuff. I had to just pass these fucking
Just to pass.
tests.
And if you're gonna do that,
So I was like,
Frank is the
yeah,
way to
it's
do it.
super great. That was super beneficial.
That's the way to do it.
And let's talk about the guitar, because I just have to mention like his skills on an SG guitar. That thick neck, bro.
Thick
Thick fucking neck, bro. He played something similar to the kind of like this, where I think it was like he played like no, he had the double pickguard. So I think he used to play a standard because it had the humbuckers, I believe, instead. Anyway, unbelievable, man. The way he was, I mean, that guitar is known for its sustain, but he got some extra little fucking seconds out of that one, dude.
He probably drilled some things.
Yeah, and that's the thing. You could tell he was like always fucking with stuff.
That's right.
I got to see his son Dweezil play with a lot of the members of the old band
very
in
cool.
Vancouver, which was amazing. And he
How was
did that
that?
marimba
That's good.
solo
Okay.
on guitar,
Really?
and he talks about it in an interview and how fucking hard it is. Apollo's Rollover. I can't remember the name. That's how fucked up it is. It's like it has a name inside of a song. The name of this, there's a name for the solo that's inside of the song called St. Alfonso's Pancake Breakfast.
You know your solo is worthy and insane when you
At
have to
St.
give it its
Alfonso's
own
Pancake
name.
Breakfast, where I stole the margarine. Yeah, dude.
Wow. You want to get into
Fire.
the song?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right.
Let's do it. You want to go first?
Yeah, I'll start.
All right.
Again, mine aren't going to be deep cuts. But let's go with. I'm gonna go down with the obvious first, of course. Valley Girl. Like
Yeah, dude. With Moon Unit.
Yeah,
a little collab with his daughter.
With his daughter. Yeah.
And at the time it was dope because it was like, yeah, the Valley Girl was like, oh, ditzy. That was like, what a. Yeah.
It was for the times. For
yeah,
sure.
MTV shit, like really fucking.
Yeah.
Really putting it to him.
Of course, he would do that.
Yeah.
1982. So exactly that time.
Damn.
Yeah. Wow.
Damn. So good.
Let's see what else. Oh, one of my favorite albums, Shake Your Booty.
Yes.
But obviously spelled differently. So Dancing Fool.
Oh man. Ain't no more dancing. That's why I wrote this song. One of my legs is bigger than the other and my feet too long. All right, yeah, Dancing Fool is so good. There's some great live versions.
There's a lot of songs from that album.
Yeah.
Even let's go with Rat Tamago from there.
Yeah, dude. All the rat references.
Yo Mama from there. Like all of those from that album. Those are all a part of my top 5 for sure.
Big time, dude. So good.
And from a different, I'll pick something from a different album for this one. I'm the Slime, like, and hearing the yeah, exactly.
I think that's off Overnight Sensation or maybe Apostrophe. Check it out. Might be before that.
So that was actually, it was before that. It was actually Zappa and like with the band. That was actually Mothers of
sick
Invention.
Because man, yeah. So that song's just about TV. That's all I know. It's just about like how poisonous TV was. Because that's right. We know when Technicolor, all this shit's coming out, and how much people were consuming. Not like people consume YouTube shows. Not like you're doing right now.
No. This is okay.
No. This is fine. This is fine.
Consume good things.
Yeah.
He's talking about
this
consuming trash.
Yeah.
And yeah, that kind of stuff.
Yeah. There's one thing I'm not. It's trash. I can't say it with a straight face. Yeah, really cool. Cool track.
Yeah. So those songs.
Really good bass in that, like bass like clavic.
That one right away when I heard that one, I was like, oh, what's this? Like,
yeah.
That one. It was nice diving back into these songs. I haven't
heard
these in a long
so robotic,
time.
it's funky as shit sometimes.
But it's
though.
funky. Like,
yeah.
It's very funky.
Yeah, dude.
So those were the ones that I really related to the most. It was a beautiful deep dive. You get into Zappa, go check out some of these cuts. But there's so much to consume.
It's endless. Yeah.
There's endless Zappa.
It's endless. For me personally, the two albums they came out back to back, and I think they were supposed to be just one full album. That like the label maybe didn't want to do it at the time, or something like that. Yeah,
I thought.
So Apostrophe and Overnight Sensation. Every track on it, it's amazing, and there's so many like cameos and shit from people like
okay.
I think like Diana Ross is on there somewhere, and she might be like Dynamo Hum. I can't remember. It's something like that. And then all the fucking players as well. Who these people end up being. Who these people end up being. Is
right, right. These are like the early careers of a lot of people that you would know and names that really made careers for themselves.
Okay, so the track I was humming off the top.
Oh.
One of my favorite songs by Frank Zappa. It's called Montana. And it's about moving to Montana to grow a crop of dental floss. And then you sell the dental floss. Moving to Montana, soon gonna be a dental floss tycoon. Yes, I am.
These
and
ideas.
Then it's got this like fucking, and then it has this really weird. There's this guy who used to sing for him that always did these like really crazy parts, and it's really fast singing, and like the drums always like match up with it. Like, I'm friendly old dental floss that's growing on the prairies, plucking the floss. I've plucked all day and all night and all afternoon. It's the weirdest shit, and it's so good. And how fucking tight that band is. Right. There's these crazy intricate like singing parts, and then there's these callbacks with it with other instruments in the band. It's really like this. This song embodies all that is Zappa.
All that is Zappa.
There's an amazing fucking fuzzy ass solo on it that's just like, oh. And his solos are tasty, dude. Like they're busy, but they're not too busy. Like there's always just some like with some tasty ass bends and shit. Not quite that yacht rock kind of.
No,
slow,
it's a Zappa effect though. Like,
yeah, dude.
You could tell it's a Zappa thing that's going on here.
Zombie Woof is on Apostrophe, I think. That has the dude who I can't remember who's singing on this, but it's like it's very kind of DMX style, to be honest.
There you go.
Yeah, turn you on a zombie too. Here I is the zombie, and he always would fuck up with or fuck around with words the whole time, right? Like zombie, like wolf. It's always about a wolf,
Right.
but it's woof.
But it's woof.
Yeah, and like telling you all the zombie toof instead of like truth, and like. In Montana, he's like, I want to be a dental floss tycoon, and then the next line is, I want to be a dental floss flaccoon, and then he goes, whatever that means. And it's fucking it's so
and
good.
this just shows how much he didn't care about lyrics and how
He
much he
fucking
hated
did
them.
not
He
at
fucking
all.
hated them, so it didn't matter. Yeah, that's so funny.
Next track is Dynamo Hum.
There you go.
This track is just all about trying the infamous Dynamo Hum, who says that no man can make her come, and it's like his challenge in this whole song about making Dynamo Hum. Dynamo hum, been spent 3 hours and ain't got a crumb for the dynamo for the dynamo hum. I got a spot that gets me hot, but you ain't been to it. Yeah, it's like it is. I think it's like Diana Ross. It's one of those people like that on this track. Yeah, it is.
Is it
I got a
Diana
spot that
Ross?
gets me hot, but you ain't been to it. I got a spot that gets me hot, but you ain't get to it. But I've got to get into it. Oh, dude, it's so good.
Zappa was so fucking out there, man.
Super sexualized shit. Like there's a
A
lot of like
his music.
there's a lot. Yeah, nowadays I think it'd be a lot of questionable song titles and content. But again, he was all about like the no censorship,
really
all that
against
shit.
that.
And he pushed the boundaries back then for that
So,
stuff. So
you have a deadly combination. You have a guy who doesn't care about lyrics, but because he kind of had to do them sometimes, why not make them just the most crazy batshit lyrics there are?
Has that
because
genius
he doesn't
mentality.
Because he hates censorship so much.
Yeah.
He's gonna go, well, these are my lyrics, and they're just insane. Even the titles of tracks,
yeah, dude.
are like, what?
The titles of the tracks,
Like they're really out there, and they're like just. He really did stick it to him as much as he could.
So Apostrophe and Overnight Sensation, fantastic albums. One of the first albums to come out, I think, right after The Mothers, when he was just kind of like, okay, what's Zappa gonna do now? Was Hot Rats, and this was mainly an instrumental album, like a lot more instrumental stuff on it. Couple collabs. The title song Hot Rats is a collaboration with Captain Beefheart, who, if you don't know Captain Beefheart, another fucking super weirdo dude. And they both were from the same like Erie, like valley-esque area. Like he grew up in some like desert ass town that was like a war manufacturing plant for something. Like his dad was like a physicist for
There's a
the
few
army.
of
or something.
those.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know what you're talking about.
So like he grew up like growing like learning how to work with gunpowder and like playing with gunpowder and shit when he was a kid. So he's got a whole physics thing going on. The guy's smart as shit, right? So Captain Beefheart on the highway My Oh My is a really good Captain Beefheart song. Check that out. Shout out Captain Beefheart. But Hot Rats is a really good album, and the cover of it's really cool. It's like this really like I think he's like Frank kind of coming out of like a what are those graves that it's like a cement like box kind of.
Is
like an above grave kind of, something like that. Yeah, he's like kind of coming out of one of those, I think.
Right.
It might not even actually be him. Might be like his wife or something like that.
Right.
But the hair kind of looks like him. That's the only thing you see. But that has there is an instrumental track on there that I think just as a piece of music, if you were to show this to any, and now the classical community has accepted Frank Zappa and understood that they're fucking morons for hating on him for all those years.
Yep.
Even
they
when
just
I was
didn't understand it.
Even when I was in classical guitar growing up, it was like Frank Zappa wasn't like frowned upon, but he definitely wasn't talked about as being like a composer or new age composers of of someone to check out. You know, it was like, this is a weirdo rock guy who was on drugs, who wasn't on drugs.
He wasn't, and he really did work to break down the barriers of that rock, jazz, classical barrier. A bit,
for sure.
But you're right, he wasn't looked on.
So this song "Peaches on Regalia" is. I don't know, man. It's one of the best pieces of music I think, written. Like it's just for just that quality. You know, if you're just have a glass of brandy before you smash it in the fireplace. If you're listening to this very elegant sort of music, Peaches on Regalia, Hot Rats, darling. I can't wait till it gets that recognized. We're like,
Where,
some guy at home is like, yes, Gloria, please. Why don't you put on Hot Rats by Frank Zappa? Let's gather by the fire here. I would love that.
That would be amazing.
One day, man, it's gonna happen.
It's gonna happen. I want to do it when I'm older, I think.
Yeah. I don't even know if that was that 5.
I'm not sure.
I'm good with that, to be honest with
Cool.
you. There's so many, just so many albums to check out, and for me, I would say check out Apostrophe and Overnight Sensation first to kind of get like an overall, like this is what you're gonna get yourself into.
Yeah,
it might
there
be a
has
little
to be like a
overwhelming.
training video on how to get
A little
into
bit.
Zappa.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
And there are just some like classic, like just some good old like rock songs and shit like that. Like Joe's Garage is really guitar heavy. That's a great album. They're all like super good. Fucking weird shit, but
Be prepared.
man,
Be prepared.
Be prepared for some weird shit. But
If you're into and you're open to stuff and you want to experience
diversify your music product,
and you want to at least, if you're going to experience anything from the past, experience who did it the best, who were the geniuses doing it. And if you're going to put your time into anyone, do it for him.
Yeah, man.
Check it out.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that wraps up for another episode of Let's Talk Musique.
Yeah, I'm JR.
I'm Ty. Big thanks to our sponsors, West Coast Guitars. Go check them out at 2741 East Hastings Street for all your guitar and music needs. We will catch you guys next week. Thank you so much for watching. Please hit that subscribe button and share. Share!
Hit like.
Yes.
Do all that. Comment. All of it.
All right. Peace.
Peace.